What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 4, where we are in the spring season and we're doing the seasonal event Stardew Rally, which requires a car from France. Yes, we build cars, and a B700 rating restriction. And what I'm going to use is the Renault Megane RS with a 700 rating. I tuned it to that rating, if you wondered, and we are going to jump right in. As you can see, you can use the Clio, or, well, I only have Renaults. You can use other French cars. Yes, there are also other French cars, but I do suggest using the Megane because I really like it, or a Clio. You can also use a Peugeot, but whatever floats your boat. In this rating range, I don't really have too many recommendations. Just use whatever floats your boat. And then you'll be good to go. I stuck with the front wheel drive in the tuning because I really don't feel like all wheel drive is necessary for this. Front wheel drive is perfectly fine for this performance level, although all wheel drive is not bad. And maybe you should try to make sure you don't run into the side of a road there, or in general. It is weird driving a front wheel drive car though. You rarely do in this game. You mostly drive rear-wheel drive cars or all-wheel drive cars. And the front-wheel drive is... well, unless you specifically choose cars like that, but the front-wheel drive is not too popular. But it's relatively easy to drive, and I think if you like easy going, then this is exactly what you want. Obviously, you can always make an argument for all-wheel drive, especially in muddy races like this one, but if it was winter, I would say, yeah, why not, but it's just some mud, and front-wheel drive just pulls you through everything, so it's fine. Whoa. That was not ideal. Sorry. I was a bit weirded out by the fact that they choose these interesting lines into these corners. Although a wide entry is sometimes smarter. You can also do what I'm doing here and just cut across the checkpoints so that you basically hit the flag. That allows you to, not really shortcut, but it allows you to take a little shorter lines or tighter lines through corners, like this one. And this one. The downside is obviously if you miss it, you've gone past and lost the race. Especially for online races where there is no rewind, or if you have rewind disabled. Which I really should do because I'm not using it anyway. So I should really disable it. I think that gives more money then. Don't quote me on that. So let us finish this race. That gives us 20 points in the championship, and I mean, it looks reasonably close, but this was a very comfortable win. As close as it looks, it is relatively comfortable. And now we're moving on to race number 2. Which is somewhere, obviously. Oh, you don't say. The race is somewhere? Are you sure? Yes, I am. Here we go, we pick our mechanic. Obviously, you can also pick the standard car, because the other cars are adjusted to your rating. So if you pick, I think this car has a 666 rating, standard. The opponent's cars are obviously made slower when you're not driving against the same opponents if you pick a slower car, but that's really just to each their own. I personally like to pick the fastest cars available. We hit the brakes a little late. I think this race is where you could be making use of all-wheel drive because of the mod here. But generally speaking, we have enough traction with front-wheel drive. I really think this is just one where if you had rear-wheel drive, you could struggle a little bit, depending on which car you're using. Now we are going in and we are going to overtake these two chaps. And now we are working on place number 2. In a very bumpy maneuver. And let's take place number 1 here. Let's go to the outside and then cut across. Now we breeze past into first. Make sure you use this long straight to pull towards your opponents, go past them. And now you have a reasonable path down here for overtaking as well if you haven't managed to get into first yet, because this is relatively easy to drive and you are at reasonably high speeds, where you can comfortably overtake, and you should be doing so relatively soon because the race will end soon. So these are kind of the last corners you're having for overtakes. And right now there isn't much of overtaking left to do. I mean, we obviously are in first, but right here there isn't much to overtake. Unless you somehow manage to pull close to them and overtake before the finish line, but probably should do it in the corners leading up to it. So that's another 40 points, no, another 20 to give us 40 in total. And that leaves another 20 points to get in race number 3, which is down here. And that should be reasonably fine, I guess. Vive la France. I still can't these lagging loading screens. I mean, I don't really care. Let me quickly take a picture here of that car. To get the photo challenge out of the way. There we go. Now we are making our move on to place number 5. We are kind of drafting and That corner coming up we are going to overtake after that jump. We're going to brake late, cut across him and take a position. There's nothing we can do into that corner, I don't think. But we took a good exit out of the corner. And that's just kind of how you want to read the situation. If you can't overtake, just make sure you drive it wide, you get a good exit and then a good run up on your opponent. We went wide there. And our opponent here has closed the door, or tried to. Little bump, little nudge to introduce us. Little nudge from behind. And nope, not yet. See, this was not good. I did plan to overtake her, but we didn't have the power, or we weren't close enough. And then I had a bad exit. But this is a long enough run up where we can draft and then overtake. And our speeds are relatively close. But the drafting gave us the excess speed over him anyway, and now we are just pouring on. Using external sources here to brake. And now the downhill section is relatively safe. Allows us to pick up some speed, and now just make sure you get this corner. That was relatively well driven. And now the end section. If you are not in first yet, this is hard to overtake in, but the corner that is coming up, if you get close in this section, which is full throttle, then across this kind of mini jump here, if you leave there, and then up here, this should get you close, and then into here you can usually overtake. And if that doesn't work, you should take the wide line, make sure you get a good exit, and then overtake into here. And this is also your last chance. Whee! Drifting finish. I don't know what it is with the lagging loading screens. I really don't know. So that gives us the 205R, 25,000 in reward, and another reward, and another 15,000. Money is secondary, you really want the cars in these races. And obviously the influence and whatnot that comes with it, but really what you want is the car. Well, we have a really pretty car here, so where's that? So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.